The concept of empathy is often reduced to a synonym for compassion or kindness, yet in reality it represents a complex psychological and moral phenomenon. Empathy is not merely an emotion, but a distinctive mode of understanding, the capacity to grasp another person's inner world, their feelings, thoughts, and motivations, by temporarily suspending our own perspective. In this sense, empathy is the practice of stepping beyond the boundaries of the self. Psychology commonly distinguishes between cognitive empathy and affective empathy. Cognitive empathy is primarily interpretative in nature. It enables us to recognize and reconstruct the mental states of others. It does not require emotional identification, but rather a rational form of perspective taking. This ability plays a fundamental role in human coexistence, as neither effective communication nor the understanding of social norms would be possible without it. At the same time, cognitive empathy is morally neutral in itself. Precise insight into another person's thoughts may just as easily become a tool of manipulation. Affective empathy, by contrast, operates on the level of emotional resonance. Here, we do not merely understand another person's emotional state, but partially experience it ourselves. This emotional attunement forms one of the foundations of moral sensitivity, as the suffering of others no longer remains an external fact, but becomes an internal experience. Nevertheless, affective empathy is an ambivalent phenomenon. While it strengthens human bonds, in excessive forms it may lead to emotional exhaustion or even moral partiality. A third, often overlooked form of empathy is compassionate or empathic concern, which transforms understanding and emotional involvement into action. This form of empathy does not merely respond to another's condition, but assumes moral responsibility for it. Compassionate empathy marks the point at which inner experience acquires a social dimension, manifesting itself in acts of care, solidarity, and a commitment to justice. From a philosophical perspective, the significance of empathy extends beyond interpersonal relationships. Empathy allows us to recognize that our own experience is not the sole measure of reality. Encountering the perspective of another destabilizes the illusion of the self-enclosed subject and opens space for a pluralistic, multi-voiced conception of the world. In this sense, empathy is not only a moral virtue but also a precondition for critical thinking. In modern societies, where communication is increasingly mediated and fragmented, the practice of empathy presents a particular challenge. Distance, whether physical, cultural, or digital, can easily give rise to alienation. Empathy, however, has the potential to bridge this distance, provided that we do not settle for superficial emotional reactions but instead undertake the demanding work of understanding and self-reflection. In conclusion, empathy is not merely an emotional disposition, but a developable capacity and a moral practice. It is an inner movement that requires both openness toward others and reflective awareness of oneself. A more empathetic world may not necessarily be one with fewer conflicts, but it is one that offers a greater chance of addressing those conflicts with understanding and responsibility.